Good day to each of you. For those on the East Coast, it's just a little afternoon. But for those of us who are in Central or in Pacific, we are still in good morning. So good morning to those of you who are in my time zone, and good afternoon to those who are East. Good to have you here today. Hope you are speaking. Let me get over here to the comments and say hello to everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to you for those of you who are celebrating because you have love in your life on that level. Then happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. And for the rest of us, happy Valentine's Day to loving who we are and who God is in the season in which we live. Good morning, Miss Lucy. Good afternoon, Sister Collins. All right, well, I know there are others on the way, but we want to talk today about love as resistance. And, usually when we hear the word resistance, we think political. But Bell Hooks, I think, said it really well, and I'm going to throw her quote up here because I think it's important for us to see it and to read it and then to shift over to how we should do that with our faith. So she says this. She says, the moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in a way that liberates ourselves and others. And it's that last part that's really going to speak to us today. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in a way that liberates ourselves and others. And so because we believe that whom the Son sets free is free indeed, then our love is resistance because we are loving in a way where it's bringing freedom to our lives through the way that we choose to love. Good afternoon, Sister Cross. And so when we love resistantly, that means that we resist what the culture tells us is love. And so we resist what the culture tells us we should be doing as love, and we love anyway. Good morning, Britt. Good morning, Radiance. Good afternoon, Radiance. I'm sorry, you're on the East Coast. All right. And so I just want to encourage us today that although this is Love Day, that love has to be 365 and that we must choose it. We have to choose to love. There are so many reasons not to love. There are so many reasons to join the chorus of hate that is in this country. There's so many reasons to wake up every day with the negativity of hate and dissension and separation as part of our lives. Don't be bamboozled by those who tell you diversity is to separate us. No, what diversity is choosing to love people where they are and with all that they bring to our relationship. That means their culture, their background, their heritage. When we know that, then we choose to love all of them. And so as we go forth, being representatives of He who loved us most, we have to love as resistance. Paul, when he wrote the first letter to the church at Corinth, our separating of it, in 13, starting at 4, it talks about love being all of these characteristics. That love is patient and love is kind, and love is not puffed up, and love does not envy, is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves, and love never fails. So we have to choose to love, and when we love like that, it will be resistance against the culture, against the status quo, against those people who tell us that you only love those who love you. against those who make us feel like our love may not be enough for them to accept us. We got to love anyway. I think of Dr. King a lot in these days, and I think about his dream and how we still keep falling short of that as a collective. But the one thing that he taught us, and the one thing that he got from Howard Thurman, and that they got from Gandhi, was that love is greater than injury. Let me say that again. Love is greater than injury. If we deal with injury as the barometer for our love, we'll never love, because people are human. And all are fail. We all fail. We all injure one another. So if you only love those who do not injure you, you will spend your life not loving much at all. But if you choose to love beyond the injury, and I'm not saying to be to turn a blind eye or deaf ear, or to say I don't feel what's going on. I'm saying that our choice to love has to be greater than our feelings, because if we only deal with it based on our emotions, then we will be on a roller coaster ride and we may never land at love. But when we choose to love, we choose to be forgiving, we choose to love in spite of, we choose to love people even though they are sometimes failures in love, just like sometimes we are failures in love. That we don't love like we should. We don't have the empathy we should. We don't sympathize with people. We don't care enough about other people's lives. What's going on in Lansing ought to be hurting us. What's going on in Turkey and in Syria ought to hurt us. But for far too many of us, life is business as usual if it doesn't affect me and mine. So our love has to be a choice. I choose to love you. I choose to exert the energy that comes with love. Now, everybody loves on a different scale. What's love for you, what is needed for you to recognize it as being love, may not always be what someone has the capacity to give you. However, if you can receive them where they are, and you can then give of love the way that you do, because that's who you are, then love gets shared one to another. So my encouragement for us today on this Valentine's Day is to love as resistance. Love is resistance to everything around us that would tell us to not like one another, to not speak to people who don't look like us, that misnomer, that big lie that has been told to us over the last several years, that if you don't agree with me, you don't like me. Throw that away. Love as resistance. I pray that you will have a day that's filled with love, whether it's love from someone else who shows you love, or love how you love on yourself on today. And remember, the one who loves you the most is the one who gave his life for you. So know, no matter what, that Jesus is love, that God loves us, and that we are loved with abundance. For everything that has been done for us is an example of love. So go forth today. Be an agent of love in a world that resists love. Choose to love. Choose to be loving. Choose to give of your heart, even when it may be a risk. Learn that love is a choice, and even when it's just difficult, love anyway. I love you too, Nikki. Karen, you know I love you. First one to ever call me mom. It makes a difference for my life. Know that you are loved, and that each of you are loved in this Be Encouraged, Thriving Tuesday family. You are loved, so go out and choose to be an agent of love. That means you know your purpose, you know your goal, You know that everywhere you go, there ought to be hearts that kind of feel the atmosphere because love entered the room. May God bless you. May heaven smile on you. That is my prayer. And we will see you soon. Love, love. Choose to love as resistance to a culture that says don't love. And be encouraged.